What's up, Impact Nation? Welcome to this episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Jason. I'm not doing any of my normal, I guess I don't really do anything normal on this channel anyway, but I didn't want to do like a upbeat introduction or have any kind of music play or anything. Because the situation I'm going to talk about today, it's, not something to be, not going to have like a joyful attitude about it, you know what I mean? Excuse me. And of course, I'm going to be talking about the current speaking out movement that's going on with professional wrestling. I'm not really going to talk about any specific story that I've read, any specific people. I might touch on a couple people, obviously from like Impact, because that's what I talk about on this show, on this channel is mostly just Impact Wrestling. If any other topic comes to me and I feel like I want to have a video about it, I'll talk about it kind of like this right here. So first I just want to start off this whole video with flat out saying, in no way during any of my opinions in this video do I have any intention of shaming anybody, of saying anybody's a liar, saying that I'm not going to accuse any of the wrestlers that are being accused of this stuff. I'm not going to make any huge judgments on them, except for the maybe couple people that I've seen that, again, not everything is, definitely confirmed, but man, especially the route that those individuals have taken, they come off as very guilty. I'm going to talk in very generalizations, almost at a societal issue that obviously has then infiltrated the wrestling community, as far as like the actual wrestlers themselves or people that actually run the promotions or whatever else. So just get that out of the way. Make sure I'm not shaming, I'm not blaming, I'm not doing any of that stuff whenever I talk about this stuff. As a whole, I'm just trying to start a conversation, and I'm not gonna disable my comments, because these are my views. I stand by them. I'm convicted in everything that I'm gonna say on this video, and so I'm not worried about anybody. Like if somebody disagrees with me, I'm not worried about them talking shit or calling me out or doing whatever in the comments. But what I do hope to have in the comment section, hopefully maybe, is this does spark maybe a dialogue, some kind of discussion that people can have. And if you guys are going to dive into a discussion with one another down in the comment section, please be cordial, please be good to one another. Just because you have certain opinions doesn't make you, a monster one way or the other, or an idiot one way or the other. Okay. So, first of all of this coming out like it has is insane. It really is. I'm not going to say shocking. Well, no, okay. I will say it's shocking to a point. Am I surprised? No, not necessarily. It's a business that's kind of always been, since the beginning of the days, it's been secretive, it's been male dominated, it's ego driven, it's, especially for the guys, there's a lot of testosterone. For the women that probably are doing it, there's probably actually a lot of testosterone running in them too. As they, as they're, obviously their levels aren't quite as high as the men's, but, there are some testosterone on them, and that stuff's always running. I remember back whenever Paige's stuff got leaked, right? Like the different sex tapes and all this other stuff, and a lot of people excused it as, man, I guess that's kind of what happens when you've got a bunch of young, good-looking, fit, traveling all the time, lonely, always looking for something to be around. You're gonna have those kind of situations happen. I think that's the kind of bigger narrative. So again, this is where I'm talking about, again, not shaming, not blaming anybody. It's more of the overarching kind of overarching concepts that come together to make this full arch of what's really going on here. And again, I will always kind of have a problem with, people talking many different stories, and it just gets dogpiled, right? Because there is this little bit in your mind that starts going, well, okay, well, obviously none of these can be fact checked right off the bat, confirmed, okay? I'm not saying they don't have the right to come forward. I'm not saying that maybe seeing a couple people come forward, it makes it easier for more people to come forward because now they feel more comfortable. I'm not saying that what they're saying is false. What I'm saying is, whenever things do come out like this, and this person's now accused, this person's now accused, this person's now accused, you'll see like 20 stories in like 5 minutes and 20 different people being accused of this stuff. You're going, okay, somebody in here's probably either exaggerating, not telling the truth, or being vindictive, maybe because they had a bad relationship. Not saying that's what's happening. Just, again, talking about generalizations there. In general. So, it's kind of hard not to look at it like that. Some of these stories that I have taken the time to read and look at, or that I've seen other people talk about or report on, some of them do kind of come across as, maybe bad relationships. Which I'm not saying is okay, but those things do happen. People will get into bad relationships. Sometimes whenever two people are together and maybe you start kind of falling out of love with each other, but you don't want to admit to it because you don't want to break up because it's kind of normal and you're kind of used to that normal. But then whenever that happens, and you start falling in love, you kind of start butting heads a little more, right? You start not wanting being around this person. This person maybe starts annoying you. You start becoming irritated at every little thing that they do. So sometimes it might not even be whoever is, supposedly mentally abusing this other person. Sometimes it might not even be, it could be all subconsciously. And then you get out of that relationship and you grow, because sometimes you don't even, whenever you look back on that relationship, then you go, man, towards the end, I should have just broken up with her and been honest, because I really started acting like an asshole that wasn't myself. And this next relationship, whatever relationship I get into next, I need to make sure that if I start feeling that way again, I go about it differently. Sometimes it's just about, growing as a human being. The only other thing that I really do hate too is the mob mentality that comes out of situations like this or days like this, the cancel culture type stuff, where one person just gives a story and it's just, you have to believe it, and then you have to jump on the accuser, and it's like they should just go ahead and kill themselves right here, right now. I hate to bring up the one female Japanese wrestler. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I should have written it down. I apologize for that. But, she was cyberbullied until she killed herself. Now, I understand that these guys are being accused for really being god-awful people. And if it is true, then they definitely need to be dealt with and justice needs to be served. But it's not our job as fans, as other wrestlers, as other just people on Twitter, to hound these people before anything comes out that to be fact. Again, not saying that anybody's lying, but you have to deal with these like you would in a court of law. You're innocent until proven guilty, unfortunately. I think every single one of these women should be heard, and men too. There's been a couple men that have come out. They all should be heard. You shouldn't. At the same token, don't go after the accused in mob mentality, but also don't go after the accuser in mob mentality either, and don't believe either one in a mob way either. Just us as fans, just sit there. You can have your different feelings. maybe you can speak out on Twitter and say, man, this is really disheartening. I can come on YouTube like this. Other YouTubers can get on YouTube like this, have a little discussion about it. But to sit here and just call out every single person without actually any confirmation, any facts, any, you know, uh, you know, statements of truth, of knowing truth, um, to jump on any bandwagon one way or the other and like demand things. Like I think that just takes us down a really, really bad road in either direction. Um, One of the other things though that I kind of I think is another huge aspect to a lot of this is, and I've seen this in a couple different people's replies, some of the accused uh, replies to defending themselves, and it's, you know, well, some of these people, like, I unknowingly I didn't realize, like, I never got the sense that they didn't like me flirting with or hitting on them, or I was always under the assumption we were both kind of digging each other, kind of thing. And you know, that's something that's a real thing. I mean, it happens in everyday life. You know, I've definitely, you know, while I was single, I mean, I'm married now, but while I was single, you know, growing up, I had many relationships, or, well, not relationships, but I had many situations where I could have sworn this girl was into me, you know? So I would try to flirt with her. I'd try to hook up with her. Not like hook up as in like try to like force her to have sex with me or anything, but, um, you know, I'd flirt. I would, you know, try to get with them, see how they were feeling about me. Thought they were, you know, I took things that they were flirting back. Um, and obviously, you know, that is the difference, right? I never like forcibly did anything, right? I might have flirted, but I don't know if maybe my flirtations made them feel uncomfortable. And luckily, whenever I was single and all this stuff, this was back in, you know, this would have been back in like the early aughts, you know, the teen, you know, the 2010s, um, and, you know, late 90s. And back then, it would, you know, not every little thing was taken to such an extreme thought. So back then, you know, the girl might have felt kind of uncomfortable, but she probably never would have thought that I was abusing her. And unfortunately, due to really thanks a lot to social media, um, we live in this world now where everything is such an extreme thought. And now a guy like I would hate to be in the dating scene today, like for just in all honesty, because even me, like I was always kind of more of like the nicer, like the good guy. I was in a lot of friend zones growing up, you know, because I was always taught to treat women with just such you know, so much respect, and to be, um, you know, very careful of how they feel or how they would see me. And so like I was always kind of the offstandish, but you know, stuff. But even then, I still think in today's world, if I was single and I was in the dating scene, even some of the things I would maybe flirt with girls or make jokes with, that maybe people overheard me say growing up, would have me like locked up in jail and accused of any kind of sexual misconduct. And I never like, it's not like I would walk up to girls and like, you know, touch them or anything like that. Like, never did any of that. But even though some of the things that would maybe do, you know, there's definitely been a time where I was at a party and drunk, and again, I thought this girl and I were kind of hitting it off, and went in for a kiss, and they went, "Oh no, sorry, no." Well, you know, in that situation, in 2020, like, if I was somebody, I mean, obviously, just if I'm still like my normal Midwestern self, you know, nobody, uh, you know, obviously, probably nothing would have happened. But unless she took me legally to court or something, but you know, if I was a rapper or famous YouTuber or whatever wrestler and whatever else, I'd be canceled. I would have lost my jobs, lost sponsors, lost whatever else for really doing something that's fairly innocent. I could have, you know, I just read everything wrong. And I'm sure plenty of people watching this has been in those situations too. Again, not speaking about any individual story. I'm just giving some different thoughts and different possibilities of what could have gone on. Okay? And why. These are kind of reasons why maybe not to jump to such harsh judgments and harsh conclusions and making assumptions. See, that's all I'm kind of trying to do is trying to create dialogue. Because too many times I see on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, people just go, "What? This person did this? Oh my God, I'm disgusted." And of course, yeah, the story is very disgusting. But you never know who's exaggerating, who's vindictive over certain other things. Okay. Um, Another thing that just overall the sexualization, especially, I mean, there's a lot of guys that sexualize themselves too in this business, but women, the women in it do it a lot, and really that's thanks to part to the whole Attitude Era. There's one thing about the Attitude Era that really sucked is it's really continued to make the women wrestlers, even the badass wrestlers that are all about wrestling, they still for some reason feel like they have to also do these photo shoots where they're half naked, right? Or they're all naked, but they got like an arm here just to cover up their nipples, like, and then they want to sell all this stuff off, right? Not shaming them for doing it. If you feel comfortable doing it, you know it makes you feel good. You know you're making money off of it, and that's cool. Hey, I ain't complaining. It's not like I don't like looking. Are you kidding me? Come on. A lot of these women are amazingly beautiful, right? So of course I'm not again not shaming, not blaming. In no way does any woman ever ask for it. Not at all. Okay. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm going to keep repeating that. So then if anybody ever gets a clip of any part of this video, there's no way that they can take this out of context. So please trust me. Not shaming, not blaming, in no way does a woman ever deserve it. Okay? That's not okay. Um, but again, whenever you over sexualize something, right? So if somebody is, let's say I'm talking to a girl and she's very like sexually open, right? Maybe she shows off a lot of stuff. Maybe she's one of these girls that, at a party, she's not, afraid to make a crude joke or two or flash somebody, or is known for, kind of, I mean, I guess in today's world would be on like Twitter or on Twitch or TikTok, and they're willing to, get basically halfway naked. Like, if they're that open with their bodies and their sexuality and stuff, as a guy, if I were dealing with them on a daily basis, being at parties, being drunk, or something else, I would think, okay, that's probably a girl that is not gonna uh, find it too offensive if maybe I also crack a joke, or if I also, since I'm also kind of open up with my sexuality, would, she's not gonna be too standoffish, right? And then if you're constantly going out and drinking after shows or doing whatever, getting yourself in kind of certain situations over and over again, it's all context, right? So this always will go into a guy's head of, oh, she's gonna be somebody that, I find attractive, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of lonely, I'm kind of feeling kind of, I'm getting kind of horny or something, I'm at a party. I think I might try. I think I might try something tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the type of women that are going to see it. And you see it a lot in pro wrestling, that a lot of women will do that. Now, I only know I only know what they're willing to post, right, on Twitter. I don't know any of these women personally. I don't know how they are in the locker rooms. I don't know how they are back at the hotel rooms whenever they're maybe hanging out after a taping or a show, or while they're traveling, or they're on the weekends off just chilling maybe going to a bar, to a party. I don't know how they act there, but if it translates from how they put themselves off on Twitter or on Snapchat or whatever else, where if these same women that are, doing photo shoots and willing to sell off these different videos or different pictures, if they're that open with their bodies and if that translates to their real life and they're that open with their bodies, then I could see where a guy would see that type of a girl and think that if they went after them with their different inappropriate jokes or sexualities, or thought maybe they could try to get some or something, I could see that. And then I could see where the miscommunication happens, and then you have bad situations, right? Especially whenever liquor's involved. If there's ever liquor involved, that's never a good thing, right? So again, that's where a lot of these things, that's kind of where I stand on a lot of these just overarching general issues with all of this. And again, like I said, I'm not shaming anybody, okay? All right, I'm not. All right, women can do whatever the hell that they want. Men can. I personally think if they're just being rude, they're being rude, right? Just if they are being physically handsy, if they are being physically abusive, they're pieces of shit. Okay. Especially if they keep going past. Oh, whoa, never mind. That's not how I. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You thought I would. No, sorry. And if they keep going, they're pieces of shit. Okay. And to be honest with you, it sounds like, unfortunately, Impact had a couple of them. I've seen some of Joey Ryan's independent wrestling work, and like some of his bigger, better matches, like his tag team match that he had against the Bucks at PWG with his partner Candice LeRae. They had a really good match there. He's actually even had a couple really good matches here at Impact, where like some really good wrestling matches. But overall, I was never a fan of Joey Ryan overall. I'm also somebody that I like more of the actual wrestling, but at the same time, I'm an adult, so like I know it's all at work, so I don't get overly worked up whenever I see gimmicks like the dick flip and shit like that. Right? That's also why I don't get overly worked up about intergender wrestling. As long as it's still a good wrestling match, what's the difference if it's Tessa versus Michael Elgin and a really good match of Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus, right? You see what I'm saying? Rey Mysterio is one of my favorite wrestlers, right? He's very small in stature, and he's beaten Undertaker, or I don't know if he's actually beaten Undertaker, but he has matches with Undertaker, with Batista, with back in the day in WCW he'd wrestle Big Show or Kevin Nash, right? And some of these guys, he's known for wrestling bigger guys. He's won world heavyweight championships. So what's the difference if Tessa does over Sami Callihan, or over Moose, or over Michael Elgin? Size-wise, it's about the same. I can still witness what they do in the ring, and if it's amazing because I'm that type of fan, then I'm going to like it. That's why I don't get overly upset with intergender wrestling or any of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, do I necessarily like it? No, not really. But I'm not going to hate on it. Just to say that I hate, just to hate on it. So, I'm sure I've said many things on here that praise some of Joey Ryan's work. But in no way, shape, or form am I like this huge Joey Ryan fan that thinks like I'm not devastated by this, and I'm not shocked. I'm just not. Somebody that wants a gimmick to be sleazy, constantly wear baby oil, have a lollipop by his dick, do a dick flip, be super into intergender wrestling. Am I shocked? No. That's why he's probably one of them that, I'm kind of thinking, and the more that comes out, I'm thinking I'm going to kind of side more on the whole, I think he's a piece of shit probably then. And the fact that, now he's fully, it looks like Anthem's going to, or Impact and Anthem are probably going to release Joey Ryan. I have a feeling maybe they won't announce it until after these tapings. I would get ahead of it. If they're going to release him or suspend him, say it now, but then just say, But we already have a bunch of footage recorded of him and a storyline. Those will continue to air until they're done. Because it's not fair to everybody else in that story to not be put on TV, right? That's something that I think Impact should do. The other one is Dave Crist. Um, I'm a little more shocked on this one, just because I don't know a whole lot about Dave. I've never heard much. You don't see a whole lot on the internet about Dave. Um, it makes where they want storyline wise, like, makes way more sense. Because for a while, it would always be like Jake and Madman Fulton in tags instead of Jake and Dave. And whenever Dave would be tagging with Fulton, Dave would always get the loss because you can't have Fulton get the loss. Um, he became a lot less vocal. Yeah, it's interesting. That whole thing is interesting, but from what I've read here today about how like he never even apologized to Rich Swann after the injury. You know, I was an athlete all through high school, a couple years into college, played college football. Um, if you don't apologize to somebody that you happen to hurt, you're a piece of shit. I mean, period. Now I know sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's especially like in sports, it's an opposing team. You don't have a whole lot of contact, especially like in high school. You could play somebody that lives 100 to 200 miles away. You don't know this person. So, like, if you can't walk right over to them before they get them off the field and say, hey, man, I'm really sorry. Sometimes, that happens. You can't really ever say sorry. It's a little bit tougher that way. But, the dude's in your own locker room. He's in your locker room in the same promotion, and you can't say you're sorry. That right there, just alone, you don't even now you don't even have to tell me about the rest of the shit. Now, it doesn't mean that I think he should have been fired after that injury. No, but now you take that and you topple it on top of, I guess, even like Sammy doesn't want anything to do with him. Jake doesn't want anything to do with him. They kicked him out of the locker room. And then on top of that, include all the other allegations that are against him. It seems like you're probably not a good dude. So if you're not a good dude in some other situations, you might not be a good dude in the sexual abuse allegation situations. You might just be a piece of shit all around. Don't know the guy. Don't know either one of them, so I don't know. But those would be my opinion on those two as of right now. A lot of the other situations, there's a lot of wrestlers I don't know. But, and then the only other thing that kind of bothers me is like you'll see some of these other people, like they feel like they have to come out, right, and apologize and show how shocked they are that they've never seen this action from these people before. And one that kind of comes off the top of my head just right now, because I just saw this get posted not too long ago, is Ethan Page with his Alpha One Wrestling, and had to put a whole statement together apologizing for booking some of these people. Why are you apologizing, Ethan? If you didn't know these people did some of these things, who are you? Why are you apologizing? And it comes off as just so pandering. It's not your fault. You didn't cause any of this. Now, if you saw some of this shit happen and you still booked these people, or if this shit was happening in your locker room at Alpha One, and maybe you just heard some rumors or something and you just didn't do anything about it, then yeah, hell yeah, apologize. Say, you know what? I fell into the culture of just letting things slide, and that's on me. And I will be better. But to apologize if you didn't know anything about it, anything about anything that these people might have done in the past, what are you apologizing for? You did nothing wrong. It's ridiculous. I mean, I guess you could still put forward some kind of statement, but I just don't think you need to put forward saying that you're sorry that you booked them in the past. If you didn't know, well, you're just booking. You're booking the best people that you can and put on some best matches that you can. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I'm not gonna stop watching Impact because people in the past have done some things. And even some of these that are really old, yeah, that sucks, and that person was a piece of shit. Maybe as long as it wasn't too severe, um, you know, if it was just kind of like a bad relationship or whatever, or maybe this one person, tried to calm on to him, but nothing really went kind of past that. Um, yeah, they deserve a second chance, or maybe they've already grown, so maybe make them, give out an apologetic statement, or whatever. And because some people brought up, like, well, Moose has had uh, sexual misconduct um, rumors or situations before. I'm not really a whole lot sure on what the full story is with Moose, but I know people have talked about how he's had some problems like that. That may be true, and maybe he did something really stupid, and maybe now he's fully grown out of that. I mean, he's got I believe, a wife now. If not, it's I think a fiance or something. They seem very happy. Um, I mean, he's done with that. Maybe he's grown up. Sometimes it does take growing up, unfortunately. I mean, you wish that everybody could just live the right way their whole life, but sometimes people don't. The whole Elgin thing. Elgin already beat one allegation. Um, so, whenever people come out again, I don't know. I'm feeling more on Elgin's side with any of that kind of stuff that comes up. But again, I'm not going to sit there and say he's definitely innocent, because that's not, obviously not true. Right? Or at least I have no right to say that's the case until evidence and facts and everything else comes out. Um, but I will say this is at the end of all of this, I really hope that wrestling companies as a whole become more aware of this stuff, or willing to be more aware of this stuff. I still think if guys are joking around in the back and being like, oh yeah, I could, me, I could probably sleep with the whole women's, oh yeah, they all want me, bruh. Yeah. That a lot of times that's just guys being stupid and talking really kind of, immature, being stupid. But again, those are just words. It's different than if the guy walked up to every single woman on the women's roster and was like, will you fuck me? Will you fuck me? Will you fuck me? Or, hey, let's do it. Come on, me and you, let's go now. Or, hey, I'm not going to book you in a good angle unless you do something. No, that's obviously then crossing the line, right? But, if you overhear a couple of the guys in the guys' locker room rating women, right? It's dumb. It's immature for sure. But it's overall, as long as they're not really, if they're just talking one on one, those are just words, right? Um, and I know a lot of people are gonna go, no, those aren't just words. Well, yes, it is. Okay, and that's kind of what I'm talking about overall. That the problem kind of is too, is sometimes, or at least not the problem, but some of the reason why I hesitate to jump the gun on any of these stories is because the littlest things like that can be blown up and taken to such an extreme thought that now that can, like, that's just as bad as if you would have beaten and raped a woman. I mean, that's almost, sometimes people look at it almost the same. And that's why I'm saying we need to pump the brakes on. But like I said, at the end of this, I really hope all these wrestling promotions, indie, non-indie, big time WWE to AEW, New Japan to anybody else that might have these problems, start paying more attention to your locker room. Start paying more attention to maybe, maybe you're in the locker room and you see a woman start never really talking to a specific guy. There could be a reason for that, and you probably need to start asking questions, right? So then we're not sitting here 6, 7 years later, and now this person has a story on social media to tell, right? You need to be able to be preventative and stop it. You know, have people dress in different locker rooms if that's still a thing, right? Make sure that the women feel safe. Make sure that the men feel safe. You know, make sure that there's things going right. Make sure people are on their on their up and up. Maybe before you sign a talent, start doing some background checks, right? Some of these things are easy to do just to make sure you're never falling back into these situations. Um, Hopefully at the end of all this too, that with those type of preventative measures, we can just get back to watching some good wrestling, seeing the good talents, getting rid of the bad people in this industry, and hopefully the industry will flourish, right? So, again, my ending thoughts to all you, the women out there that have come out and spoke out. My thoughts and prayers are with you. I hope that whatever does happen, that the right things happen for you. If there are guys out there that are being falsely accused, again, I hope the right thing happens for you guys. And I do think that, especially if there's a lot of accuses, can't really speak. There's a lot of allegations on one specific person. You're probably better off just saying, we're gonna cut ties, guy. I'm sorry, but there's just too much smoke in one person, so there's probably fire, right? So hopefully everybody gets through this. Everybody does the right thing, and the wrestling industry gets changed for the better. I really do hope so. And again, I hope nobody gets too offended by what I've said in this video. But I that is exactly I'm not gonna pedal back anything that I've said. So that's just the way it is. Again, love to hear some actual good dialogue down in the comments, guys. If you did like this video, if you did like some of the things I have to say about such a terrible topic as this, hopefully you guys will give me a shot with my actual Impact Wrestling reviews. I am going to get back to them again. I haven't really gotten on for a couple different reasons. And then also kind of starting to get busy again, doing some different things. Yeah, so hopefully, I'll be getting this, we've got Impact tonight. I'm recording this on Monday night, but it should be uploaded Tuesday. So then we've got Impact Wrestling tonight, if you're watching this video on Tuesday. And I should have my review out. I'll probably release it on Wednesday with Aftershock now, and just in respect for the T&I podcast, Total Nonstop Impact. Hey, go check them out. They're a lot of fun to listen to too. For respect to them, since they always do a live stream review right after that, I don't really want to also then add mine on. I'll upload my review on Wednesday, and hopefully try to get back into doing them every week. Because guys, it's the Road to Slammiversary, and these shows have been really good. I've really liked these last couple weeks of shows. The whole Marvel style in credits, the speculations, the way that they're telling stories, it's been a lot of fun. So hopefully we can continue to have some fun, starting with tonight's episode of Impact, and I'll give you guys my thoughts tomorrow on that. I've been talking a long time, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here. If you guys want to ask me more questions or try to get more of an actual discussion with me, go hit me up on Twitter at Anthem of Impact on Twitter. Or just, hit me down in the comments section down below. Again, please don't just be good to one another down there. Don't let that get too volatile down there. If you guys want to come after me for whatever I've said, go ahead. I don't care. I really don't. These are my opinions. I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm actually pretty right on a lot of this stuff. But at the same time, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not in these wrestling locker rooms, so I don't know how the ins and outs really go. That's why I'm trying to talk about this more on a societal scale rather than this individual community. And I can only speak on an outsider looking in on some of these things. So I can't, I won't walk anything back that I said, because I don't think I've said anything too derogatory. I don't think I'm putting any blame. I'm not shaming anybody. Again, the women wrestlers out there, if you guys want to keep posting pictures, cool. I'll look. I'll click on the picture and say, "Ooh, nice. I like it." Yeah. My wife hates it whenever I do that, though. But hey, if you guys want to show it off, show it off. I probably would too if I look like a lot of the women out there in the pro wrestling business. If I was a woman too, obviously. But actually, if I was a guy, like a lot of the big muscular, good-looking dudes in the pro wrestling business, I'd be showing that off too. You know what I mean? I'd be making people thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would. But anyway, guys, if you've stick around to the very end of this video, thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video. Hopefully we can all move past this. Hopefully we can all become better people from this again. But until you guys hear my review, peace.